Hey guys, Nate here with Murray Farm and Ranch. Got a helper today, the littlest Murray. It has been a while. We have been wrapping up some projects around the place, and it's stuff that we've already kind of made videos on, and so it's been a minute, but we're back today with a requested video, and that is steak. We talk a lot about beef. We raise the beef, butcher the beef, we eat the beef. And I've made some hamburgers, I've made all kinds of stuff for you guys, but I have not, oddly enough, made steak. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what I do, how the rancher eats his beef. The most important thing is to start with a good piece of beef. And we've got a couple of T-bone or sirloins and a couple of ribeyes from beef that we butchered. These are from 18-month-old steers. They were on pasture for the first 16 months of their life. They stayed on pasture and then had a grain supplement for 2 months. And man, it's delicious beef. These steaks are absolutely phenomenal, and we're gonna get after them tonight. We, of course, are going to be using the cast iron. I love cast iron for cooking steaks. This is what I'm using tonight to season them. I like to do both a wet and a dry seasoning. So this is just your generic steak seasoning. All of them are going to have salt. That is going to be a biggie. Coarse salt should always be number one. You have some other spice, sugars, always a good idea. I really like Daddy Hinkles as well. And then we're going to use a little dab of Worcestershire. The truth is that you can put meat in a marinade, and it's going to give you that little thin line of marinade seasoning, 1/16, an 1/8 inch deep into the steak. And it doesn't matter whether that has been for 30 minutes or 6 days. Kevin Gillespie with the Meat Eater did a really good explanation of that on the Meat Eater podcast. And I mean, there's some other things that you can do to get marinate into the meat, like inject it, but we're not doing that. This is just going to be superficial. So here we go. No Oak, he's ready for the steak. He's ready for the steak. You're not going to hurt it. Alright, now when you got your dry seasoning on, we're going to go ahead and hit it with a little Worcestershire. And your Worcestershire, you're just looking for, just a little splash in there. We're going to flip them over and do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to let these set for about 30 minutes after we've done the marinade. And I got some other things to prepare, and so I'll get after that. We're going to let these set for about 30 minutes. Oh, you can't wait 30 minutes? You can't wait 30 minutes? You're going to have to. One of the things that separates a really good steak is the sauce that goes on it. And when you're at home, it's like you got your A1 and your Heinz 57, but sometimes you want a really good, like, restaurant quality sauce. And I'm going to show you guys how to make one of those. It's super simple. So I've got some white onion. It's minced up really, really fine. I've got a half cup of beef bone broth, and about 1/4 cup of sour cream. I've got some peppercorns, and I'm gonna smash those up really small. And at the very end, when the steak is done, we're gonna mix this stuff together, and we're gonna make like a super rich sauce that is just delicious on these steaks. So as far as your peppercorns, I mean, this is just kind of like an assorted peppercorn mix that would go into like a pepper grinder. And we're gonna take these and we're gonna just rough smash them. They're not gonna be like super fine, super minced, but it is cool to do it right at the time versus just using pepper, because there's just so much more flavor that's released when you smash it up like that. The time is now. Cast iron is nice and heated up. We've got that olive oil hot. We've got our steaks are ready to go. And I'm going to show you guys one of the last steps. And that is, so these have this wet marinade on them. If you want that really dry crust, you know what? I like to dry them off first. And so I'm going to take them on a piece of paper towel and kind of let them get some of that moisture off, and then we're going to go straight into the cast iron. And like I said, it is 4 minutes of no touch. We're going to let it go and just cook. And then at 4 minutes, I'm going to flip them over. And so that's going to be different for you versus me versus whoever else. And that has to do with the thickness of the steak, the heat of the temperature, like the cast iron. And so you're gonna have to play with it a couple of times. You have to cook your steak and see what's best for you. For us, it's about 4 minutes on each side, and that gives us that kind of like medium steak, line of pink in the middle. Oh, can't wait. All right, it's time for the flip. So I love this nice char on that steak. Oh, that looks so good. We're gonna go about 4 more minutes, and then we'll let these bad boys rest, and we'll make our sauce. You want to let your steaks rest, somewhere like 7 to 10 minutes to let all those juices come back inside. That's really important. All right, so now it's time to do our pan sauce. So we've got our pan. We just took the steaks out of there. I haven't cleaned it. We're gonna immediately take our bone broth and add it to the pan. It's gonna start to reduce really quickly. In that pan, we're gonna put our onion, and we're gonna put our black pepper that we've crushed up. Our heat is reduced down to about pretty much low, basically. We're just going to kind of simmer this liquid, and we're going to let this cook these onions and kind of get them soft. Like I said, we're going to do this so that about half of the liquid is gone. You want to kind of scrape on the bottom of this pan, and you want to get all that stuff that was stuck to those steaks. You want to kind of free that up. You want to mix that in with this liquid, and this is like a absolutely delicious pan sauce. So wonderful. There's multiple ways to tweak this. You can add in some red wine to kind of give it that Merlot kick. You could do some brandy or even some whiskey. So we've got it so that our sauce is way reduced. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the heat. We're going to take our sour cream and we're going to add that in. What we got going on now is kind of forming this creamy mixture that's just loaded with flavor. And you're going to come up with something that has this rich brown consistency. Nice rich sauce that is loaded with flavor. It's got that kind of hot pepper flavor, but then it's rich and kind of decadent with the sour cream. So here we have it, folks, the quintessential ranch meal: steak, potato, salad. How you guys like the steak?
Yummy.
Good, yummy.
Yummy. Noah, do you like the steak? One more? One more? There you go.